All right, welcome to the video. In this video, I'm going to be going over 6 ideas which I have for my agency, which are hopefully going to scale me to £10,000 a month in the next 2 or 3 years. So these are the ideas I have. If you haven't got the attention span to get yourself through a 5 to 10 minute video explaining how my ideas to make if you haven't got the attention span to get yourself through a 5 to 10 minute video, then I think you're going to really struggle in business. So make sure you stick around because this last one is my golden rule and my golden idea for creating my business and making sure I can scale to more than £10,000 a month. So the first thing I want to do and implement into my business once I start building this is to implement one-to-one sales calls for every new client that comes in. This isn't like a sales call to try to sell them something, but it's going to be a coaching call so they get used to how to sell. And that way, at the moment, I'm just focused on generating my client leads and going from there. However, when I get the money and I scale up my agency, I'm going to be hiring a sales coach who's going to be able to schedule a one-on-one call for every new client so that once the leads come in through my services, they're going to know how to sell and they're going to get way more out of my service. So the next thing I want to implement is a Facebook group. This is going to mean everyone in the business and everyone that becomes a client for me is obviously in the same business because I'm in one niche, which is home improvement. It's going to be able to communicate. I'm going to post just loads of value on that Facebook group, and people can communicate, connect, network, get value from other people in the businesses, and again, get more out of my services. The next thing I want to implement is client interviews. So if a client's doing really well, I'm going to ask them to hop on an interview with me, just explaining how they're doing with my services and how they are getting the best results possible. This can get posted onto the Facebook group, so there's an aura of success. So when people join, they're not going to be like, oh crap, these leads are crappy quality. They're going to realize if I put the work into this, I can get results. And this is basically inspired from a Thomas Gonnett video where he did an interview with someone that's in the real estate niche, which is implementing this at the moment. And I thought it was really interesting because I have had clients that I've brought leads to, which are probably fine leads, say that they're bad leads and he couldn't book any jobs out of them, but he'd only text them once. So like I said, if you are implementing the one-to-one sales calls and the Facebook group and the client interviews, you're going to reduce your churn because people know that it's up to them to get results with your services. It's not just all done for them. So the next thing I want to implement is a course. I've thought about this quite a lot, but I really think even like 100 sides or less course, just going through how to sell, how to use the agency and how to get the best results out of my service. But also making the course less about my service and more about like in the home improvement niche, even like firing themselves from the business and getting out of the business using my service. And this is going to provide a lot of value because people are going to be able to see that if they follow the steps properly, they'll get to the point where they're not even working in the business anymore. They're working on the business and they can start hiring and et cetera, et cetera. The way I plan to do this is by leveraging other people's experience. So I can be interviewing people which have done the same, asking people which have done the same to start coaching in my business, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, I'm not going to build the course myself because I don't know about how to grow a home improvement company and fire yourself from the business, which means basically taking a step back and starting to work on the business rather than in the business. But if I can find clients which are doing that or find people which are, I can leverage their expertise, get them on interviews, get them on coaching calls, and further implement this into the community, which is going to be reducing my churn rate of my agency. So the next thing I want to implement before I get to the final one, which is probably the most value, is weekly to daily calls, depending on where we start. So I'll probably start with weekly calls. Each call will be different. So one on selling, one on how to, I don't even know, just one delivering value to all my clients every day. So one on selling, one on mindset, one on expanding your business, one on using leads, one on growing your business, hiring, removing yourself from the business so you can be more hands off. Just weekly at first, then move into daily. Again, I can bring in new people, coaches, sales coaches, people high up in the home improvement niche to do this and teach it to my Facebook group, further reducing my churn because if people are getting like crazy value out of these 1 hour daily calls, why would they ever want to leave? And if they do want to stop getting my lead generation service, they can pay to be in the Facebook group separately, further reducing my churn because I'm basically downselling people which no longer want to pay the high ticket option, but they can pay the middle ticket option. So yeah, getting into the last one, I'm going to say this like it's light. Obviously, this is going to be a lot of work, but I really think a software for people in my niche would work really well. The idea would be to resell Go High Level, but I want to make it work. So I don't want to just make this some crappy resale of Go High Level, even introduce my own parts of the software just to really, reduce my churn, bring a lot of value to people in the home improvement niche. I've had an idea which I've been thinking about for a while now, but before I get to that, I'm going to need to grow my agency to over £10,000 a month, implement this community, and then I can start thinking about the software. So this is really a 5 to 10 year plan. However, I really think the ideas I have are going to help a lot of people in this niche, and I can be able to charge a lot of money if I'm offering the ideas which I have for a software, which is going to be a combination of both Go High Level as well as like some additions which I'm going to be able to develop myself. Obviously not myself because I'm not a coder, but the ideas I'll work out in the future once I scale my agency down the line. So I think a software and software businesses are really lean, really easy, and they have a low churn rate, especially if the software becomes an essential part of the client's business. And yeah, the aim is to get the churn to zero. Like, if a client comes in, they need to be so amazed by my services, by both my lead generation, the Facebook group, and all of these things which I spoke about, that they're never going to leave. And if that software comes in and becomes a vital part of their agency, then again, they're never going to want to leave. So this is my ideas, which I'm going to implement into my business in order to scale myself to £10,000 a month. But initially, I'm in that stage where I'm just trying to get testimonials and nail down my service delivery, so then I can make my business more lean and easier, so I free up some more time to work on these things. But at the moment, outsourcing is not an option. I'm doing everything myself. So once everything starts working well, I can implement these things. And if you've made it this far in the video, please drop a like, subscribe. It would mean so much to me. If you want, my Instagram's in the description. Take a look. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.